Hi, Pearlside friends. Welcome back to the Pearlside podcast channel. I am really happy you have decided to come and watch this episode. It makes me feel great to have viewers and people that want to listen to my stories. I have a lot for you today. So let's get started. Welcome to the Pearlside podcast. I'm Benjamin. So today's episode is called the Purl of Wisdom. And what does that mean? It has a couple different meanings when I started to do a deeper dive into it. It means it has a couple different ones. So let's lean into it, get your coffee, get your knitting, and let's get started. What's in my cup? Coffee. Love the coffee. Just every chance I get, I would like to have a coffee. As I get older, I realize I can't drink coffee too late in the afternoon, or I might have a wake night. I used to be able to just do the caffeine day and night and have no problems, but coffee. I like Americanos are my favorite with some cream. I will drink instant. I'll drink black. I'll drink iced coffee. Love coffee and water. So if there's not coffee in my cup, there'll be water in my cup. Today is a nice temperature out today. The sun came out today. It stopped snowing. We're in Stony Plain still today. It's about -1 at the moment, but it's supposed to get up pretty nice today till maybe about 5 degrees. Probably get a little bit warmer than that. It usually gets warmer than they usually say so. But having the sun out today is a really nice treat, especially when we're taking a trip down to Calgary to see our grandchildren and my daughter and my son-in-law. We haven't seen them for a little while, so it would be great to hang out and visit with them. I do have a field trip planned with my daughter tomorrow, which is Saturday, and we are going to be going to Gina Brown's yarn store in Calgary and just snoop around and see what is there and maybe introduce myself. And you never know what I'll get up to, but that should be a great time. Another thing that I've been doing is just really diving deep into this podcast, trying to put episodes together in a thoughtful way. It takes time if you're writing your own script and you have your own ideas. I didn't realize there was so much involved into doing this. Also, locations and finding the right lighting and things happening. So you just have to take your time and get into it. So podcasting, we're really diving deep into the podcasting, talking about that. My husband, in December, he applied for a grant at Tell a Story Hive, and we had an idea and it's called Access Stony Plain, about what it's like to be a person with limited abilities or disabled, and just going around Stony Plain and seeing what there are fun things to do that is accessible for people that may be in a wheelchair or a walker or a cane, or somebody that has to walk slow, or even moms with children, or there's so many different abilities and people. So we won the grant. We're very excited about that. So we're also working with that. And of course, we're doing a documentary, so we're constantly working on that and working with each other doing that. We're helping each other out. We're kind of having a career change at the moment. Oh yeah. Excuse me for looking at my notes. I just really don't want to miss anything. So I'm a note taker. I love taking notes. I'll just look at my notes and make sure that I'm on track. And I'm not one to have a laptop or a tablet in front of me. I'm not very good at all the keys and all that. So it takes me a little bit more time. Writing notes and keeping track of that, of my life and things is I have journals, love my journals. So I will be referring to them a little bit in this episode. I'm trying to make it not so scripted. I had some pretty big dental work done last week. So I've been healing from that, so resting and relaxing from that. Also, there was just learning social media has taken me quite a bit of time. So trying to put a Facebook post up and the Instagram post and what it takes to do things on Ravelry. These things take time, and if you want to be a thoughtful person about it and make them look good, you have to take some time. You can't rush these things. Well, that's what's happening with life around here, and I just wanted to say again, thank you. If you wanted to subscribe and like, that would be awesome. I know that you hear that a lot on YouTube podcasts and stuff, but it is important, and I didn't realize how important it was. I was able to like and follow quite a few people in the knitting community, and they're so lovely. People they just want to know what you're doing and how you are, and they message each other, and we're just strangers, but we're talking to each other, and it seems nice. So it is nice to have a community. So liking and following and sharing is a great thing. Let's move on to segment 2. And that is what's on my needles. There are whips, sips, faux, and cals. And I put another category is something I just bought because it was pretty and I wanted to do a project with it. So I'll show you all of that. And another fun thing that is in this category is reading. I didn't realize I loved reading patterns and recipes for knitting and learning about the yarn and what it takes to put it together and all the things to a knitting pattern. I do want to move on from socks. I've done some cowls and toques and mitts and socks. I would love to do a sweater. So my goal is to learn stranding, learn how to do it well, get my tension right. Socks go on your feet. It doesn't really matter if you see them or not, but a sweater is pretty visible, so you want to know how to do it right. I want to make a sweater. So that being said, my friend Corinne, who is also in my knitting club, she came over this week and she surprised me with a belated birthday gift. And she's so sweet that way. Her birthday is just a few days after mine, and we weren't able to get together at that time because life was so busy, but she came by. And she brought 2 lovely magazine/books for me. And the first one I'll show you is Love Wool. And it is a really nice book. And I have been reading this when I haven't been knitting. I really would love to make a sweater out of here. It looks, the wool and the yarn looks so amazing. I'll put the, in descriptions, I'll put the name and who it's by and all that in the description. The second one is knitted socks from Finland. How fun is that? Stranding. Yeah, more stranding for me. I'm loving it. So I will put the link or the description of the magazine that I'm describing here in the descriptions as well. Yeah, it took me a long time to go through these. They're a fun read. I might get my pen out and write in them too. I do that with recipe books too. So that was a fun thing I didn't expect to do. Whips, I am still working on this. And this is Emily's blanket that I showed you in my first episode. I mentioned that I agreed, if she pulled it out, I agreed that I would knit this, but I decided to do Tunisian crochet, and I started it. And the reason why I'm not further into it is because, yet again, the tension was wrong. Even my tension was wrong. So I have to say a little bit of a sorry to Emily, because she just didn't know, and I didn't realize what kind of yarn this was. Is so slippery and soft that you really have to hold the tension right to make the stitch not slide. Like you can see right here, there's a little bubble, and that's where my tension was. But I'll block it and it'll get all straightened out. But it's kind of a nice project you can do in front of the TV watching a show and not really have to worry about it. It's just a simple Tunisian crochet stitch, so that's awesome. And I am still on my 2 socks that I was doing the Fairy Maiden. I'm at the toe, so I'll decrease the toe and I'll be finished those. The Yule flower socks, I'm still working on them. I'm finished the heel. I just have to do the foot and then put another row of one of the stranding rows and then finish the toe. So that won't take me very long. It's just when you have so many projects you want to do, it's hard to find time for each project and sit down and finish it. And I just, when I'm in my knitting mode, I just want to take my time and just relax and meditate and not worry about too much. So some of these 2 sock patterns, I need a pattern in front of me and I need to make sure I'm on the right row. So I use my Knit Companion, which is an app on my cell phone, and it counts my rows and my stitches, and it's really a good tool to have. So I will explain that one day too, more in depth. Maybe I'll put a description in a link in the description. That's a good idea. Oh, this is a really fun thing that I'm doing. And let me grab it here. This right here. I don't have a bag, I just have a bin, so it's a little bit clunky for me to grab, but I'll grab it. No worries. This. So this is, it's called the Kangaroo, Newborn Kangaroo knitting pattern, and there is one for crochet as well. And this is from my dear friend Jen, who Jen and Adam are our closest friends, and they had a baby that was premature. His name's Evander, and she decided that she wanted to be on the board of, it's like a parent-led board for the NICU at the Stollery, where Evander lived for 3 months of his life when he was born. Anyway, they have this little gift that they give to all the newborn babies, and this is how big this little hat is. And this is one ear, and it's gonna go like this, or like this. And I haven't quite got, I have the other ear done, but I haven't got the nose done yet. I will work on that. And this yarn that I'm using is Estelle Spark DK weight and you use a 4mm needle to work on it. And this color is cream. This one is tan. And I got it at Joe's because that's where I like to get my yarn. She has so much fun stuff at her store. So I've been working on that. And it is a Cal, so my cables, my knitting club, they have decided that they're gonna do it with me as well. And anybody can do it. It is not just for people that know Jen. It's for anybody that knows somebody that might want something to do and give back as kind of like a volunteer thing. I know a lot of ladies make blankets and booties and things for certain, like the Ms. and the Misericordia Hospital. So it is giving back in a sense. So I am going to put Jen's information in the description, and there will be a link to the pattern. She knows I'm talking about this, and she thinks it's a really great idea. And they made 100 of these little toques, and what she said was there was nearly not enough. So if you decide to make them, you can get a hold of Jen, and she can give you the mailing address or shipping or whatever, however to get it to the Stony NICU. So that's a pretty fun thing I'm doing. And then I went to Joe's, and I went to sit in it on Friday. I haven't been in months. I haven't seen the ladies, and it was really fun. It was a nice day out, and I just felt like getting out of the house, so it was really fun to go and see all the ladies. Most of them I didn't know, but I knew the lady working. I know Joe that was working. I also found these 2 balls of yarn, and there are going to be a pair of socks. I'm not quite sure what they're going to look like, but I'm thinking this is going to be the cuff and the toe and the heel, or vice versa. I'm not sure, but this is really pretty, and I wanted to knit with it. What is it called? O'Keefe Twin Socks by Lang. And of course, Nordrop's my favorite. It's so soft, and they're super wash, so they're very versatile socks. Well, you can put them in the washer, and I do dry my socks. I know that's like a no-no for some people, but hey, I don't have time for stuff like that in my life. So that's basically what I've been up to on my needles. I will just keep going on with my projects. If I get them done, I do. If I don't, it's kind of nice just to know that they're there when you want them. I did end up making a dishcloth and scrubby one side, dishcloth the other side for my mother-in-law, which she loves that. So I kind of put down the difficult projects, which I used my own tip from last week and did something simple, and it was great. And she was amazed and loved it. So it was great. And I just had the stuff in my stash to get it done. All right, let's have a sip of coffee, and we'll probably move on to some other stuff on my agenda here. I know I want to talk about the words Purl and lean into that. We're getting to that part right away here. All right, so I do have segments that I kind of keep things straight when I'm writing my script here. So this is called The Heart of Knit, and it's Stitch, Reflect, and Faith. And I would like to pick up my needles and do something but I didn't bring a project here. I could Tunisian crochet. Maybe today I'll just talk into the camera. I'll usually knit with you guys if it comes to it, but I end up talking too much and not knitting anyway. So as we lean into the topic, one, the purl stitch, two, how pearls are formed, and the pearl of great price, value of wisdom. So those are the three things that really came to my attention when I was writing this episode. And the purl stitch, well, do we really think about these things? Like, what is involved with a purl stitch? Well, it's the back of a project. Usually you see the little bumps and they are the back of the project. It can be the wrong side of the project. You see mostly pearls. So there's a right side and wrong side. So the purl side is usually, especially in the stock and knit stitch, is right side, wrong side. It's the purl stitch is essential for texture and gives it form and texture and structure. It does give it structure, because if you didn't have a purl, you wouldn't have a knit. It is a slower and more awkward stitch to do, because you have to bring the yarn forward, put it through, and anybody that knows, if you have to do a lot of purl stitches, that it does take a little bit more time. But the more you do it, the better you get. And I know that I used to avoid all patterns that had pearls, and I didn't so that's why I love knitting in the round. Socks are really good for me. I don't mind the pearls now. I can do, because it gives you can do patterns, and then you can use more one color yarn and have texture and pattern in it, instead of using variegated yarn to give you that look. We don't always love the purl parts, but they do give richness to your project. And every knit has a purl. So we need it. We have to have a purl to do a knit stitch. So they just go together. Anyway, that was my thought on the purl. And so then we move to the next one. How is a purl formed? So I was so blessed a few years back. I was on a sabbatical trip with my husband. We took a couple years off, and we ended up in Vietnam. And we went on a cruise in Ha Long Bay. And part of the cruise was to get off the cruise ship. It was a Chinese junk boat. And we got on these little boats, and it was a really rainy day, so we had our raincoats on and little umbrellas, and they gave us the fun hats, the Asian hats. And we went to a floating village that produced pearls. It was a pearl farm. And we were able to go through the whole system and the whole how the pearls were built. I don't remember a lot of what the ladies and the people told me that day, but when I started looking into how they were formed and asked the Google, I learned some things, that the oyster shell has the outside, and then on the inside of the shell, it's called nacre, and that's what is called the mother of pearl. And then something gets inside the oyster that's an irritant, like a grain of sand or piece of glass, or I don't know, something, a piece of shell or something gets inside the oyster shell, and the mother of the pearl closes in on this little piece of irritant and tries to protect the oyster by making the pearl, the mother of pearl, layer onto the little piece of irritant. And so it's like, it's a beautiful, when you think about it, a pearl is the only precious gem that is made by a living creature. And it is very valuable to a lot of people. There was quite a few very expensive pearls in that store that we ended up in at the end. I did end up with a pair of earrings, which I treasure deeply. I know that they do come from far away, and so it was like a really good experience. And then I started to think, okay, so this mother of pearl is making this beautiful thing, and I wanted to relate it to how knitting is. And then I started, as I was at Joe's Yarn Garden on Friday, I met up with one of the first ladies I ever met when I went to, Joe's used to be called Pam's Woolly Shop before Joe bought it and changed the name to Joe's Yarn Garden. And my friend and I, Corinne, we went there and learned how to knit in the round and learn how to do cables. And Evie was there working, and she was one of the helpers to teach us how to knit in the round. Evie was at Knit and Stitch the other day, and she just made me feel so confident back then that I could just do this and it wasn't a problem. And anytime I've ever been around an older lady or somebody that is like incredible knitter and they're just have so much knowledge, and I ask them a question and they help me, and it's like they are covering us and putting pressure on us to make beautiful things, and it just made me feel related to the knitting, the purl and the knitting and the purl stitch, and it just was a fun realization when I thought of that and when I was writing the script for this episode. So that was great. And you know, I showed you the pattern for the Kangaroo newborn hat, and I thought, Jen, like, she's like a mother of pearl. She's helping these families that are having this great problem and hard time in life, and she's covering them and nurturing them and helping them be okay and not so lonely. And so she just gives something valuable back as well. So yeah, I'm blessed to have these people in my life, and I'm blessed to know that there's just goodness in the world, and people are really still giving back in their own little way, and it helps me to be a better person, and here I am talking about it to you guys. It's fun. The next thing was the pearl of great price and value of wisdom. So Jesus has a parable in the Gospel of Matthew, and it's Matthew 13:44, and he talks about how it's, to me, when I hear it, and I have to summarize it, is that we are his church, and we are the prize, and we are valuable, and we are like a pearl that is valued in his eyes, and that he loves us that much that he wants this valuable gift, and that we have his gift as well. It goes two ways of all of his teachings, and it's just a very beautiful way to think about a pearl. And it also says that the merchant would sell everything he owns to get that one precious pearl. So that, you think back in the day, the pearl must have meant a lot to the people that were in the markets. And so I just think it's a good thing to be a pearl and be valued. God's transformative grace, beauty, and character. It's being created, and it takes time. Wisdom takes time. Wisdom is building through experience, trials, and errors, and it turns into beauty and something wonderful. I love it. It makes me feel great to know that and learn about that. The other thing is knitting as a teacher, learning knit wisdom. I said it was take your own time. I'm not in a hurry to get my projects done. Learning from other women that are more experienced than you, doing CALs with people that know more about yarn, and maybe they help you pick out color selections that go together, and it is a good thing to know that you can focus. It makes you focus, like starting on a pearl, which I'm going to be talking about very shortly, because it's my tip of the week. So starting with a pearl, you have to be focused to know and remember where does that yarn, the working yarn, have to be. Humility. I had to be like, Emily, your tension was not good, but neither was mine. So I had to take some humble pie and say, okay, I had to rip it all out and start over again. And I had 30, 40 rows done of it. So it teaches you humility as well. And perseverance, how about that? Getting a project done, and you buy really special yarn, and you just have this vision of how the socks are going to fit, or the toque that you made for somebody is going to fit. Is it too droopy? Is it a beanie? Is it their style? Everybody has their own styles, and then you make that project finished. You finish the project and you put it on, and it fits like a glove. How awesome is that? It's a good feeling. So those are valuable things that you learn. And maybe the first pair of socks you made were really terrible, but you learn a lot as you go. And so, yeah, it's knitting is a very, very I understand why it is still a craft and a thing people do. There's so much to it that is so gratifying. So I talked about that, starting with a pearl on a pair of socks, and you're knitting in the round. So the tip of the week, I did a little demonstration, which I am going to put in here right now. I'm going to shove this little thing I made on, and I showed you a little tutorial of knitting with the pearl on the start of a round. So I hope you enjoy it. See you in a couple minutes. Hi, Purl Life friends. I wanted to show you a quick tip for purling in the round on your first stitch. I've always had troubles with this one, and I just learned something that it makes it so easy. Generally, you keep your working yarn up and above your cord to start with, if you're using English style knitting, and you go like that, and then you flick it over. But with a pearl, if you keep it on the other side, then you have to make sure your yarn's over, and it just feels awkward. Anyway, so I learned that you do the opposite. You let your yarn fall down to the front, in front of the cord. You stick your needle into the stitch before you pick up your yarn. You pick up your yarn and you just go ahead and up and over and through, and that's your first purl stitch. And it actually becomes really nice and tight. The other way is a little bit looser, so I actually prefer to do it this way. I hope that's helpful, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Well, I hope the demonstration was good for you. So I just don't ever have a problem now. I really focused, I tried, I worked it out, and now I can just do it. So I don't overlook any patterns that start with a purl. It's not even a problem. Just keep doing it. Don't get frustrated. Just keep focused and you'll get it. So the next thing is fiber fun, which is something I just want to make sure I talk about. I had the fiber fun on Friday, and that was last week. It was April 11th, and I went and had the sit in it. That was fun. Fiber fun is getting out of the house and doing something, maybe a festival or sit in it, or sitting with your friends and having coffee, or this is coming up. I didn't realize that there is a thing called a yarn crawl, and that is next weekend, April 24th, 25th, and 26th. So there's 6 local stores in our area, Edmonton area, and you get to enter a prize if you go to all of them, and you get your card stamped, and there's a gift, and you get to go to all the different stores. There are a couple stores on this list that I have not been to yet. I'm sure that it would be a really fun thing to do. I think I might have one friend that is willing to do it with me. Her name's Corinne. I'll talk about her quite a bit in my podcast. And I think we might try to do the yarn crawl this year. And that was an unexpected thing I learned yesterday. Trying to put that together. I already have May 2nd put together, and that's the River City Fiber Festival. No, the Rose City Fiber Festival, and that's in Camrose. And 3 of the 4 of us ladies that we get together that were called the Cables are going to that festival, and it will be just a fun day to get out, and that'll be May 2nd. And I'm gonna try not to miss anything. One thing that happened when I was at the Sit in It on April 10th. Yeah, it was April 10th, Friday. I met up with one of my old clients. I do hair as well, and for a job, she was my client, and she works at Joe's, so we have so much in common. She was able to take a few videos and some pictures of me, so she helped me with that, and I'll use a couple of them for this episode for my thumbnail and maybe the start of the video. And she has agreed to come and sit on the couch, and we'll just have a gab session and do the filming, and that'll be one of my episodes, but I'll have to arrange that. She's a very busy lady. She has 4 boys, and they're always going here, there, and everywhere. She has homeschools, and so it might take some time for her, but I'm so excited. I have one person that has agreed to do it so far, and I'm sure there'll be more. So that is fun. So the listener's corner this week is just me saying that I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, Ravelry, Pinterest. My email address is purlsidepodcast@gmail.com. If you want to check any of them out or talk to me, just DM me or email me. I will get back to you. I also wanted to say that I'll put all the things I talked about, I'll put in the description so you can look back and know what I said. And to like, subscribe, and share is awesome. I got a couple comments and I wanted to share them with you because it was kind of fun to have people say something about me. One lady said, "Bravo, love starting with your faith and all your makes." That was sweet. And another lady said, "Perfect." And I thought that was so cute. "I like your opening. Looking forward to seeing more." So, I'll read comments. If there's something that I want to share, I love it. Telling stories, if you want me to tell a little story about something that's important, or a little thing that's happening that you want, like knitting wise or craft wise, there's usually craft fairs and stuff all around. So I don't mind mentioning that. And the last thing is just the closing thoughts. I am so thankful that I got an opportunity to do this podcast today. I'm truly blessed for all the things. Next time you're working on a roll of pearls, just it might be uncomfortable, but just know that it's worth it. And it's forming something beautiful. Just know that life is like that too, that we have all our trials in life. There's always something beautiful out of a trial if you really look deep and want to know the answers why these things are happening, and embrace the people that are trying to cover you and help you and form and just be part of the beauty of it. Oh yeah, I read this poem, this lady wrote, and she said, "The Purl of Wisdom. The yarn forms the stitches, the knitting forges the friendships, the craft links the generations." And that was written by Karen Elfk. Sorry I butchered that, but she's a designer and knitter, and I got that from Pinterest. So it just spoke to me. I wanted to say it to you. So thank you for sitting with me on Pearlside Podcast. Okay, Pearlside friends, until next time, keep knitting, keep learning, keep creating something beautiful, and until next time, many blessings. See you. Okay, Pearlside friends, keep knitting, keep learning, and keep creating something beautiful. Many blessings, and we'll see you next time.